And now we're going to talk about Jack and Lilly. So, a lot of similarities, aren't they? Oh, can I just remind you, don't forget to like and subscribe, please. A lot of similarities between these two cases. You just cannot believe that any small child can just literally disappear, can you? I mean, disappear. You know, they haven't been vaporized. You know, they've got to be somewhere. I just want to put up the picture of, So these two little dots, Lilly 6, Jack 4. Now he'll be coming up to 5, but it's 4 when he went missing. They've been missing since May, so much longer than Gus has been missing. But the actual circumstances of them going missing are similar, I think, because it is also a remote property, though not as remote as where Gus has gone missing from. And this time we're in Canada, in Nova Scotia, rather than being in Australia. And again, playing outside 1 minute. Apparently, they could be heard. Their GMA lives on the property. She wasn't in charge. She's like their step GMA, really. So the lady that lives on the property, Janie, she's Daniel Martell's mum. It's her property, I believe. It's her property. Her son is Daniel Martell. Malaya is the children's biological mother. And they have a partner together, a child together, Meadow. They were in bed dozing off and on with the baby. And Daniel says, they could hear the children playing outside or in the kitchen, not outside, in the kitchen. He says he must have drifted off to sleep. And then Malaya said to him, "Oh, I can't hear the children." This is their story. This is what they say happened. We have no evidence to prove that isn't what happened. So apparently, the normal door to the trailer where they live was wedged shut with a wrench because there'd been a black bear. Suddenly, this black bear now they're talking about. So the black bear didn't get in. But the sliding door at the back, that's where they think that Jack and Lilly got out of the trailer and then disappeared into the woods. Poof, poof of smoke. These two little children just disappeared. But there's been a boot print found. So there's the boot print. Again, seems suspicious to me that these boot prints, single boot prints, and then, of course, a little bit of Lily's blanket was found, apparently. And Daniel said that somebody had been in the bin and reached down and got the blanket out of the bin. But why was it in the bin? But anyway, and a piece of it was found on a bush somewhere. So we've got a bit of a blanket and a boot print. And apart from that, absolutely nothing. So that's the similarity with Gus and what happened to Gus. So now then there's been a few other things have been talked about. Now a couple of the neighbours said they'd heard vehicles around, despite the fact that Daniel claims they went to, and Malaya claims they went to bed around about 9 o'clock the night before, never left the house. But then we've got neighbours saying that they heard vehicles, but then we've got the police saying that they can't confirm that there were vehicles. So are the neighbours lying? Have the neighbours had something to do with it? Or is Daniel and Malaya lying? Then Malaya left the very next day, took the baby and off she went. So that's a bit of a strange one for me, to be honest. If my children had gone missing, I wouldn't have left the area the next day and then never come back. I'd be wondering, I'd want to be there when they were found. And people have said maybe it was just a mental state at the time. She wanted to go off and be with her mum. Who knows? So anyway, we're going to watch an interview now with a recent interview with the grandmother of Lilly and Jack. And this is the grandmother of Lilly and Jack on the biological father's side. So this is Belinda, I think her name is. And yeah, Belinda Gray. And we're going to listen to an interview that she's given quite recently. Now, apparently, Jack and Lily's biological father had not seen them for 2 years. She hadn't seen them for 2 years. I'm not sure why that is. You know, why? Why had she not seen them for 2 years? What was the reason for that? Did they not have shared custody then, I take it? I think he had some drug problems. I don't know. I don't know all the ins and outs. I've got to be honest. I don't know the ins and outs. All I know is that Belinda hadn't seen these children for 2 years. Their father hadn't seen, their biological father hadn't seen them for 2 years. You know, I get the impression, and I do think that Daniel is a very controlling partner. And maybe Malaya was looking to get away from it. It's hard to get away from someone who's controlling, especially, you know, once you've had a child with them. You know, Malaya's very, very young. I think she's only about 24 and she's got 3 children already. Daniel's got 2 children by a previous relationship, which apparently there was domestic violence in that relationship, allegedly. We've got Jack with his black eyes going to school that Daniel said Lilly probably did, or he walked into a door, or, you know, so this, again, so many red flags, so many mysteries, a very complex, complicated family relationship. And, you know, and then the added complication, it's very unusual for 2 children to go missing together like this, whatever the circumstances. So, yeah. Well, let's have a look what Belinda has to say.
Lily is 6 years old. Jack is, well, he's going to be 5 years old this month.
Belinda Gray can barely speak through the tears.
Now, one thing I will say is Belinda's the one who, you know, who does come over as absolutely devastated. Much more than Daniel does, or even Malaya did in the first day when she was the only interview that I've seen with her, or that Janie, you know, Daniel's mum, you know, Belinda does have this genuine, she's genuine, you know, you can feel it. You know, it makes me want to cry when I see her, you know, the empath in me. The thing is, if you're empathetic, you can only feel for people when it comes over as genuine. You know, sometimes I've watched people and I think I should be feeling emotional because what they're saying is emotional, but I'm not feeling it because I don't think it's genuine. You know, I've felt that with quite a few things recently, not only to do with this case, but other things that have occurred. When you're watching someone who's genuinely upset, you can't help but get emotional with them. And I do feel that with Belinda. That is true emotion on her face. You know, she's heartbroken. And part of it is probably because she hasn't seen them for 2 years. You know, the thing is, these sort of cases, they bring up all sort of guilt feelings. She may feel guilty that she didn't insist on seeing them. You know, sometimes people who, you know, but time goes, doesn't it? So, you know, it's easy to sort of judge, but, you know, it probably starts off, she wants to see them. And then there's problems with her son and his relationship with Malaya and Daniel. And you're thinking, right, we'll get this sorted this week. We'll get it sorted next week. We'll get it sorted this month. We'll get it sorted. And time goes, and 2 years can just go just like that. And I get the feeling with Belinda, there's a lot of, she feels, and she'll tell you that in a minute herself, I think she feels that something has happened to these children, and she'll be feeling guilty as well, because people always feel guilty in these sort of cases, except the perpetrators, you know, if anything bad has happened to Jack and Lilly, which, you know, the more this case goes on, the more I'm starting to think there is some foul play here. You know, in the beginning, I wasn't sure, but Well, I'm still not sure. So I shouldn't say that really, because everybody concerned has passed lie detector tests. Nobody's been considered a suspect. The police are saying it's not a criminal matter. So we have to take that for what it's worth for now.
Describing the children she hasn't seen in years.
The last time they were here, they were still basically babies. Lily was 4. She was such a carbon copy of me. She copied everything I did. And Jack was more sober. He was just crawling around the floor, learning to walk.
It's been 2 years since Gray last held Jack and Lilly Sullivan, and months since anyone has seen them at all.
Your grandchildren are what you leave this world. They're a part of you.
When Lilly and Jack went missing, Gray says she joined the search herself.
We started working our way up through the woods along a brook. And then we crossed over the brook and we started coming back down through the woods.
For Gray, hope quickly turned to suspicion, especially after their mother left the area.
When I found out Malaya left, I knew there was no sense searching anymore. It started making me think,
That's interesting, isn't it? What she said, as soon as Malaya left, I knew there was no sense in searching anymore. Now, apparently there were some altercations on that day. You know, they all turned up at the house. They were arguing with Malaya, with Daniel, and, you know, Malaya's parents. Malaya's mum was arguing with Daniel's mum. You know, there was a lot of accusatory things being thrown around on that day when everybody turned up to help search. But what I did think was interesting about Belinda, I mean, I don't know why Malaya and her son split up, but she said she was surprised, because don't forget, she hadn't seen Malaya for 2 years, that she was surprised about how Malaya had changed, about the state of the place where they were living, that Malaya was never like that before. She changed since she met Daniel. So I do think that's probably true, because the thing is, sometimes you don't notice with people how they change when it's if you're seeing them every day or on a regular basis. But when you haven't seen anyone for 2 years and then suddenly see them and they've changed so much, like Malaya, a young girl, 24 years old, had changed so much since she'd been in the relationship with Daniel. I do think Daniel is not, you know, he has got this coercive control traits. And I don't think that would have been a good relationship that was going on there. Now, a lot of people are asking about the DRUG side of things. You know, what were there DRUGs found in the house? That's something that's occurred to me, that maybe Jack and Lilly found some DRUGs and took them and died. You know, that's a possibility, isn't it? Having said that, the other thing we have to remember, the police were right there the next day, presumably looking in the house. And, you know, if Daniel would have had a meth lab in the house or whatever, surely the police would have found it. You know, they didn't have much time to clear up. I mean, the kids were seen alive and well on CCTV the day before. So if something untoward happened to the kids, it had to happen on the Thursday afternoon evening. Now, that does give you quite a long time to clear up, because I don't think the police arrived there till about 1 o'clock the next day, or 1 o'clock. So it gives you quite a time, but not really that long to clear up, does it? Because clearing up after a red rum, or surely it takes longer than that. They didn't have lots of time to clear up. You know, but did Lilly and Jack, were there drugs in the house that were, you know, Lilly and Jack, you know, some drugs, I'm not supposed to say the word, but never mind, look like sweets, don't they? Did they think they were sweets? Did they take things and something terrible happened to them because of it? Is that a possibility? You know, and then everything else was to cover that up. because they'd be worried about Meadow being taken away from them. Well, the thing is, Meadow has been taken away from them, and they're only allowed supervised access, both of them, Malaya and Daniel. They have to have separate supervised access to Meadow. And the only good thing is Meadow's only so very young, probably doesn't really realise at the moment what's going on. So I hope this case, whatever it is, gets resolved before that little girl gets to be old enough to know what's going on. You know, is she going to grow up without these siblings? Dear me.
I think these babies wandered off.
She hopes police can bring her closer to the truth.
I hold them all accountable. I don't know how 2 kids can go missing.
RCMP say they combed through every possible lead, but Gray feels police could have acted faster.
I don't care what the criteria is for an Amber Alert. When you have vulnerable children missing, it should be an automatic alert.
Every day, Gray checks her phone, hoping for a message, a post, a headline,
Yeah.
anything saying they've been found.
To see if there's any new family members coming out speaking. And that's off and on all day.
I mean, you know, she's going with her GMA gut instinct. She doesn't think the children are coming back. That's how she feels. She looks genuinely heartbroken, doesn't she? Now, and I agree with her when she says she holds them all accountable. There were 3 adults in that property. 3 adults. The mother, the stepfather, and Janie, Daniel's mother. And they couldn't keep their eye on 2 little kids. You know, it's like they're all accountable in one way or another for negligence, if nothing else. Because those children, you know, you've put a wrench up against the door to stop a black bear coming in, and you just leave the sliding door so the kids can just go out at will. I mean, you know, they are all accountable. And if Janie heard the kids but didn't even look out or go out to them and say, I know she's not their biological grandma, but she is, to all intents and purposes, their grandma. And she's responsible. Anyone, if I was there and I'd have no relation to them whatsoever, and there's kids there, you looking out for them kids. Where's your mum and dad? Oh, come on, let's take you in. You know, don't go out unsupervised. That's what a normal person would do. So I agree with Belinda completely. They're all accountable because there were 3 adults on that property and these 2 children disappeared. And if 3 adults can't, you know, keep their eye on 2 children, well, come on. You know, there's something wrong.
That goes on right until I go to bed.
Along the 40-kilometer stretch in Lansdowne Station where 6-year-old Lilly and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan lived, cadaver dogs searched the woods and trails just a few weeks ago. RCMP say they came up empty-handed, but families say they're still holding out hope the children will be found soon. Hafsa Arif, CTV News, Upper Musquodoboit.
Well, again, I don't think the children will be found. Well, not safe and well anyway. I'd love to think they were. I'd love to think they would be, but I just can't see that they would be. They will be. Can you? I mean, somebody please give me some hope. You know, do any of you think that they could be found safe and well? Now, I just want to show you before we go. So that was a very recent interview that she did. I want to show you an interview that she did a while ago. And it's got some, as much as anything, because it's just got some lovely pictures of the kids on it. And you just get a bit more of an idea about the situation with her son. He hasn't really come out and said anything. Cody, their biological father.
My heart tells me that. I am the grandmother of Lilly and Jack. I am the grandmother on the biological father's side. My son is Cody Sullivan. He's not in jail. He's never been out west. He does not have a criminal record. And right now he's living with me. He has been for 9 months.
How did you find out that Lilly and Jack were missing?
The mom of my grandson called me. We were in town. She asked if I heard the news. She sent me the article that was on Facebook showing the kids missing. I couldn't call Malaya yet, so I waited till we got home. And I called, well, I didn't call her, I texted her. And she told me that, yes, that the kids were missing, that they've been missing since this morning. I was in a state of panic, shock. But in the back of my mind, I kept saying, well, they'll find them. I mean, I'm assuming that they'd find them. So I told her, well, we'll head out first thing in the morning and help with the search. It was around between 3 and 3:30 in the morning. A couple of cop cars pull into the driveway. The lights wake me up that I'm a fairly light sleeper, so I see the cars pull in, so I knew what it was. So they come inside. They only stood in the kitchen. They wanted me to wake Cody up, and they wanted to know when was the last time he had seen the kids, and that they were just making sure that the kids weren't here. And then they left. So we showed up Saturday morning, me and my sister, and we met up with my daughter, and we started, well, I asked Malaya, I said, you know your kids. Nobody knows their kids like their mom. Where do your kids normally go to play out in the yard? What direction do they usually like to explore? And she said, well, they always play up in the little woods right on the side. I said, well, okay. I said, we'll start from that point and we'll work our way out. We had spoken to a search and rescue, and we weren't allowed on the other side because that's where they were searching at the time. So we just started combing through the woods up through there. We were gone for a couple of hours. I'm yelling for Lilly and Jack. We always called Jack Jackie Boy. And yeah, that went on for a few hours, but those woods, I started to feel that I can't see them being in the woods. There's trees everywhere. You literally have to climb over trees.
Yeah, there's no way those kids went into the woods. I agree, completely agree. Don't believe they would. So we've got 2 cases. Basically, we've got Gus Lamont that I don't believe he went running around all that expansive remote property. We've got this case where I don't believe those kids went into the woods. So what does that leave us with? It leaves us with the thought that either they've had an accident close to home, and again, Jack and Lilly, you know, they could have, something could have befallen them close. I'm sure they would have been found by now, you know, but it leaves you with just the foul play option. There's probably foul play in both these cases. That's how it feels. But, you know, we don't have no evidence of that. And we've just got to wait and hope that it's not going to become, let's see, I'm going to fast forward this bit to the pictures of the kids. Yeah, there it is. We've just got to hope, you know, that it's sooner rather than later and these don't become cold cases like Summer Wells and Sebastian Rogers.
I love you.
Lilly is, she was my little dream girl, the first granddaughter.
Oh, bless.
And I loved that she had the brown hair and she had a space between her teeth, which I had when I was a kid. So yeah, she was our little princess.
She's got a very sweet little face, Lilly, hasn't she? You know, just a little sweetie, isn't she?
Princess. Jack was such a sober, serious little baby that he didn't like to smile. You could tickle him, and he would look at you ever so serious, like he was really studying you.
Oh.
And so how long were your son and Malaya together?
3.5 years, I think it was, yeah. I thought they were the picture-perfect family. Then Malaya started to tell me that they were having problems and she wasn't happy. She told
I thought they were the picture perfect family. It just shows you even people close to couples, they don't know the truth of what's going on. You know, they weren't happy. To her, they were happy. You know, sometimes we just don't see what's right in front of our nose, do we? Let's see if there's any more nice bit. Let's fast forward a bit. Let's go to there.
my heart tells me that. I am the grandmother of Lilly and Jack. I am the grandmother on the biological father's side. My son is Cody Sullivan. He's not in jail. He's never been out west. He does not have a criminal record. And right now he's living with me. He has been for 9 months.
How did you find out that Lilly and Jack were missing?
So, supposedly he's living with her, but he doesn't want to be interviewed. Oh, sorry, I realised I went back to... Anyway, I'm going to finish this here now. But, yeah, you know, so many rumours flying around about Cody, about Daniel. And then over in Australia, there's all the things that people are saying about the Gus Lamont's family, you know, their complicated family dynamics. And what's at the crux of both these things are missing children. And these children need finding, don't they, one way or another, you know? Anyway. Okay, so thank you for watching. I'm going. And I will be back if there's any news, of course, about either of these cases or any of the other cases that we're following. Thank you for watching. I'll see you really soon in the next video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And until I see you again, may your God go with you. And please pray for these children and their families. Thank you.